Alright, welcome to the Blackhat Defcon experience video. I'll first cover up all the stuff that happened at Blackhat, the experience from being an attendee and seeing different talks and workshops and things like that. I did a workshop and then I did um, the briefings, and then after that was DEFCON. And so I'll talk about the differences between Blackhat and DEFCON and what it's like to go to both these events. So this is a recorded video thrown together of different videos and pictures from while I was there, and I'll just basically narrate over that. So the main hall in Mandalay Bay has the nice Blackhat sign, and this is a big thing for the area where you get photos and stuff like that. Here's where you check in. It's a simple check-in process. Show some ID, then get your badge. This was the setup. I took a hardware hacking class, and again, you can see these type of classes definitely have a lot of material. They definitely provide a lot of tools. This is what a training class would look like normally. See a lot of different students in there. Depending on the trainer, they provide all the materials. They'll usually let you know when you sign up for the class. This one provided all the materials. This is what a briefing room looks like. So this is after all the trainings have been done. You come into one of these rooms and can watch a briefing. This is what a briefing kind of looks like in session. These are usually industry experts or people that put in what they call for CFPs, call for papers, and that the committee usually selects their papers to give a talk. They're always very technical in nature, and in different areas and different fields. And that's what's usually great about those talks, is that you get a lot of information in a short amount of time, and they give background and stuff like that, what they're working on. The materials definitely available on the Blackhat website after, and so you could always go, if you missed a talk or wanted to go watch it again, you could go see that, or the slides, some of the material that we're talking about, and a lot of stuff. A lot of people take pictures during this to kind of capture whatever they were talking about, and go back later and learn more about it. The hall was pretty big, and so you were always consistently walking around from talk to talk. This one here is just riding down an escalator. This one is the sales floor. Basically, it's the vendor area, and this is a big site to see. The vendor area is huge, and this is what all your big name companies and products, and you can basically get a demo of anything at these booths. You can see here at CrowdStrike has their cool Fancy Bear character there, a Cozy Bear. That one was Cozy Bear. And a lot of different booths have a lot of different games or things that you can do to kind of potentially win a prize, or learn more about their products. And a lot of it, again, is just to bring you in so that you can learn more about your products. Again, this is probably the hugest space of vendors that I've been in a long time, and there's a lot of different vendors, and everywhere from firewalls to cloud to security teams to cloud providers. This one here was using Candy to kind of bring people in, and majority of the time what these vendors want to do is scan your badge, and your badge has like contact information, and that lets you come to either like their parties, or the contact information will allow you to for them to contact you later for services. One of the nice little treats during training that they handed out was a little mango smoothie. This is the line to actually pick up your DEFCON badge if you bought it from Blackhat. Super short line. It took me all of 5 minutes to get it. Didn't have to wait. There's the DEFCON badge there. Again, it comes in a nice packaging. That's the badge and the lanyard and the book. During Black Hat, they do this recording called Dark Reading News Desk, and you could actually watch a live recording of it happening. Pretty interesting, pretty neat. They also have bookstores, so if you want to grab a book on something more in depth, you could do this here. This is a lunch line. This is after training. This is normal briefing days. The lunch line does get pretty backed up. It's not easy to go through. And then this is the Black Hat badge, plain printed out badge, nothing spectacular about it. Black Hat had a mask strongly recommended policy, but not required. So people, took it upon themselves to wear their mask or not wear their mask. So then that moves us on into the DEFCON experience. So DEFCON, again, is a completely different thing. It does happen right after Black Hat. They work kind of hand in hand to make sure scheduling's the same timing. But they're different entities. Black Hat's more towards the corporate type of setting, where DEFCON's more of the hacker culture, more learning from each other, that type of thing, where you're getting together. This was the DEFCON banner for this year, Homecoming. Really cool. They actually get artists to make all these. The first one up, I'm going to talk about Caesar's Form, and we'll pause it here for a second. But Caesar's Form here had a lot of different areas. So the difference between Black Hat and DEFCON 2 is also Black Hat's in one building. It's just in Mandalay Bay, and it's on 3 floors, where DEFCON's in like 3 different buildings, and it's that way to spread out the crowd and the interest and stuff. But it's also it can be very confusing if it's your first year and you don't know, or don't fully understand how everything works. And so, like in this case here, what we're seeing is the map for Caesar's Form, and there's the tracks. So these are where the talks are at, track 1 and track 2, and then track 4 kind of gets used here and there, and track 3 is just pretty much like a movie theater type setting almost, where people can hang out and watch movies. They have a list of movies going on. The villages are really, I feel like you get the most value out of the villages, and I'm going to cover some of the villages, and I recommend that you watch the DEFCON conference channel. They already have started putting out more detailed videos about the villages. But in Caesar's Form, this is the main area where DEFCON usually happens. And so we got the Aerospace Village, the Car Hacking Village, Physical Security, Lockpicking, Tamper Evidence, the Quantum Village, Password Village, Misinformation, AI, Policy. They added policy this year. Packet Hacking Village, Retail IoT and Voting Machine, and ICS. One of the things you will kind of notice, and this is kind of the bad part about having multiple villages in one room, is that if there is a talk for one of those villages, they can literally happen at the same time as all of them. So not in this case, but some of the other ones, they had 3 villages in one room, and they all had a talk at like 2 o'clock. And so then you're literally, just separated by like a divider, in that you're just hearing everything. There's no real, it's not like the room's cut off or actually divided. It's just an open room most of the time. So that was kind of the bad part about some of this stuff, when there's multiple villages in a room. So this is the hallway down towards the Packet Hacking Village, towards different rooms and stuff like that. There's the Packet Hacking Village right there. Little banner, again, cool, printed out thing. This is early in the morning. That's why there's not a lot of crowds. DEFCON also starts quite a bit later, about 10:30, that local time there. And so I'm pretty much an early bird, so I was there way early. This is the crowd after it's starting to fill in, near the merchandise area. This is the vendor area. And so in the vendor area, this is where they sell You got all your different like Hack 5, and Tool, and Hardware Hacker, a warehouse, where you can buy all your cool little pen test boxes, things like that. If you're looking for key shims, just all these different cool little gadgets, varying different costs and such. Hacker Warehouse is really cool on different types of things. Hack 5 everyone knows about, and they have their Hack 5 gadgets and stuff, and their stuff's really cool too. Hacker Boxes was there, which is really cool. They're little kits that you could work with as kids or just interested in technology. And if you want to learn a little bit more, they're selling these boxes here. The big thing about most of the vendors, and something to realize when you're coming to something like this, is a lot of them only took cash, and that was really rough because there's not an easy vending machine in the area in Caesar's Palace, so you kind of have to go somewhere else to go get cash, and then you got to come back and hope that they have these things. So again, if you know something's gonna be there that you want or whatever, expect to have cash. The interesting thing was, like, Hack 5 literally came out with the Wi-Fi coconut and announced that they'll have a limited quantity of them at DEF CON. And so, here you are trying to spend $200 to $300 on a device that you didn't know that was going to be out. And so, you may need to go get more cash and stuff like that. So that was, again, another rough thing. I kind of, again, wish the vendors would either took PayPal or something else. When I was in the hardware hacking village, someone, again, was selling some cool little Wi-Fi hacking tool that they've made. And I said, I don't have cash, but would you take PayPal? And he's like, yeah, I take PayPal. So, again, that little flexibility would have been nice, but most of these were just kind of set on there. Again, you'll see stuff like Tor was here. There was another vendor over here that was making customized, like, wallets, physical wallets that you can make, and you could add different things on there, like a clip or like lock picking set and some other things. It's a really neat area. So this is the main like CTF area, again, at Caesar's Forum. This one here was an oil rig that you could hack, and as you did the attacks or activated certain things, the screen would respond to that and show different things, and it would flash. So really cool, really feedback. So here's the Aerospace Village. Again, this is my perspective, again, walking in and just kind of walking around. This kind of gives you the idea, too, of how crowded it can be in DEF CON. DEF CON could get really crowded. So if you're not good with crowds, it would be good to have a buddy with you or somebody with you to kind of like hold on to and say, hey, I need to, I need somebody around for me to go in here. But a lot of things, just like this one here, this DDS at DEF CON, Hack the Airfield, what you're seeing her read is an instruction sheet of what they can do and commands that they can run. And what this is doing is it's getting people the experience to these technologies and understanding a little bit of how they work. And most of the organizers in the background, could answer questions about stuff and talk a little bit more about the technology. A lot of these things like this are usually sponsored by somebody. I'll cover it later, but like I think one of them was like sponsored by Rapid7 and stuff. And again, it's great. Like if you want to get experience in lots of different technologies really quickly, this is the way to do it. You go sit at this village and it's all about aerospace, and you get to learn all about different aerospace technologies, and that's what I find like the most enriching thing. If you're either coming into the field or you're looking to like broaden your horizons and learn more about stuff, this is the way to do it, because you just get so much experience to other different things. So again, you can see a better, more instructed, the better shot of the instructions here, and this is what the airfield actually looked like on the projector and stuff. So again, there's guide, and the laptops are there, so you don't need to bring your own for this. A lot of times you don't really need too much. Here's a little bit more like these Lego sets, and just kind of showing different aerospace type vehicles. And here again, another CTF for a little bit of learning. This one's advertising pen test partners, and again, these are companies that you could go work for, or like maybe they have a bug bounty and they're looking for people to help with the bug bounty type stuff. This one coming up here is the Hackasat, ran by the Air Force. Really cool. This is a mock satellite. And these are all Raspberry Pi boards that were stacked on top of each other with different functionalities. But this pretty much mimics what like an actual satellite would, have similar technologies in space and stuff. Besides the dish to actually beam down and such back, but that same type of thing. So there's explaining all the different parts of the Hackasat, a little bit of the program. There's the digital twin and architecture and how to do demo challenges. So again, lots of cool things. You could go sit down, you could talk to somebody, learn more about this type of stuff. This is a close-up picture of the Hackasat. You can see here with the Air Force symbol. Being a prior Air Force guy, I was really interested in this. I thought that was really cool that the Air Force is sponsoring something like this. But you can see a mini antenna here. The black thing coming out the box there. And just laser etching and stuff. Really cool. This was a flight computer out of a actual Boeing system. This is the computer on the side here, and then this is the viewer. Basically, it has like airport maps and stuff like that. Things that you would normally see in an actual airplane. So again, you can play with that. Next one up was the Car Hacking Village. This one was again really neat. Literally, you could go sit in a Tesla. You could play around with stuff. You can kind of look at it. I think there was also a Hyundai in here. I'll show here in a minute. But you could play with all the different areas. You could plug into the OBD2 port, play with the on stereo system, the OSD there. That QR code there would sign you into like another CTF. There's the Honda, or it looks like a Honda. So again, giving you physical access to these cars and systems to kind of understand them a little bit more. So then these are different companies or people running the village, either selling merch to kind of raise funds for next year, or looking to get more sponsors and stuff like that. Which this is how these villages run, is money and sponsors, which is great. People donating to it. So there's a lot of different things here. This one here is little computers that were inside. So again, kind of led CTF challenge here. These are PLCs or programmable logic controllers that usually sit in the cars, and these people are learning how to communicate with them, how to connect to them, what's it look like to run commands on a PLC, get that experience. There's QR codes to kind of do some mock-up of this or whatever. So again, you can kind of see the crowds. Every one of these, especially in the Caesars Forum, is going to be really crowded. This is really cool. When my first year I went to DEF CON, they had something similar to this, and at the Car Hacking Village. This is why I got first introduced to car hacking. I thought it was really cool. Is they had this basically dashboard kind of pulled apart and thrown onto this board, and the wiring harness linked to basically enough together to kind of trick the entertainment system into being on and nothing having major issues here. And so this is what you're kind of seeing. This is a portable implementation basically of that. Where they have the dash cluster, your onboard entertainment system here. You have some of your CAN bus and other technologies here. I think this is a door actuator, it looks like here, with some up-down window buttons. And so again, just gives you that ability to play with this type of stuff and see how it interacts, how to interact with this type of thing. You can see this one's sponsored by Grim, or someone put a Grim sticker on there. But I see that the Grim Reaper is on the printout there, and that's usually done by Grim. Yeah, see right here, and the Grim logo. So again, this is the hacking community giving back to the hacking community here. So here, someone's talking to the organizer, trying to learn more about what they're doing. And then here's a more sophisticated, I think, CTF challenge where these have, if we go back real quick, these were actually like Raspberry Pi type computers that would hook into wiring harnesses and stuff like that, and let you kind of play with that more. So then the next part, the next one at Caesars was the lockpicking and tamper evident village. And again, this is another great favorite. I think this one and physical security are one of the two bigger ones. Really hands-on type stuff. Really get to play with tools and such, or see these technologies. So on this table here is all tamper evident things, and tamper evident is kinds of devices to let you know if someone's been inside of a package or changed a package or manipulate a package. And you've probably seen these if you bought stuff before. So like these tags here are the plastic things, and once these go in here, there's no easy way to get those back out. So they have all these different type of plastic tags that you can go play with. They have scissors to kind of manipulate and see if you can get the thing back through there without cutting it, basically. They also have metal ones here, so they also have metal pliers and stuff to play with. So again, just introducing you to different types of technologies there and in each field, basically. So tamper evident village. So this one here is going to be different stickers that whenever you peel off, it says void. Some other things here. So we see here, these are all different type of stickers. So here's tamper evident tape. So if you peel that up, then it has the tamper stuff. Right here is kind of a good example of that, showing you more of those type of different locks or plastic locks. Some of the tools that they can use here. So there's a good picture of the tape. So if you peel that tape up, it'll leave a marking there. And so what they're trying to show you is how you can take things like these cotton swabs and such, and then basically get liquid underneath there to peel the tape off without leaving the residue. And then tool was here, so you could get by lock picks and get more experience with lock picks and different types of lock picks. They have the tumbler picks over there on the side. This one's the physical security. So this is all types of physical security, which is really awesome. So they had an RFID garage door type one situation there. This is selling the lockpicks, again, a way for the village to kind of raise money and sell lockpicks and ask for sponsorships and such. So you buy all these different tumblers, under the door tools, latch tool, Chicago handcuff keys, and then each station has a different type of physical security type mechanism, and trying to get you to kind of learn how to get past this. So again, really great exposure to an actual physical thing to do this, and that could only be done, in person. So we'll see different types of door jams, different types of tools. So we see there someone was picking the lock. Someone's here using a slide tool. So that's a notch. This one is the CTF room. So throughout the year, there's a bunch of CTF type challenges, and if you pass them all and your team scores high enough, then you actually get to come to the DEFCON CTF challenge at the end. And so these are just specific teams that have qualified to be in here. And you can kind of see again what they're hacking. This is a virtual factory setup basically for the capture of the flag. This one again was kind of the type of board. The scoreboard here, we can see different rounds. From what I was being told is basically different rounds happened, and that would tell you if you pass or fail, or if you captured the flag or didn't capture the flag for each one of these. Again, this is what I was kind of getting from someone at the CTF. You can see that they were doing different reverse engineering challenges, running IDA and Ghidra here, and some kind of like get commits. So again, really cool, really great to be able to participate in this if you get to that level or work with a team. This was the misinformation and password, and there was one other thing in this one. And what was funny about the misinformation in Quantum Village, so password, crack me if it can, misinformation in Quantum Village. What was funny about the misinformation is they actually did an exercise during the conference, and again, it's hard to really even know if this is fully true or not. But if you were watching the Twitter during the conference, someone tweeted at DEFCON that the paper goon badges were not real goon badges, and that no one should accept those. And then someone else on the DEFCON replied to DEFCON and said, no, that's not true. We do sometimes handle out paper badges if we run out of electronic badges. And so this kind of gave this whole, well, what do you trust, right? Because that's the whole point of misinformation is, flooding it with what seems like factual information and making people figure that out or not. I paused here because I wanted to talk about this one too. This is the password hacking village. So this one here is again demonstrating and showing you how to use different tools to password crack. So we can see on the screen that they're using Hashcat and that they're cracking NT caches, and that they're showing them how to do different types of password cracking fields against these, with the different characters and specifying the characters and using Hashcat to do that. So there we can see that's the CTF set up basically. And I say you wouldn't have to wait too long to participate in any of these things. You can see that there's people around, but it's not like a line. The line really got to be whenever it was in some of the other villages, like Red Team or something like that, where you could easily spend over 2 hours waiting to get into the Red Team village for maybe a talk or just playing on there. So we can see here that they were able to crack some of these hashes, and they're trying to finish up and get the rest of them. So again, very much what we used to call left seat, right seat training. So someone sitting in the left seat is the one actually on the keyboards, but the person in the right seat is kind of telling them, what to do, how to do it, why you would do it this way. Basically just giving you that information as needed. This is the AI village. This one was pretty interesting. They would show how AI could be used to generate different images. So this is a DEFCON area, the talks when they happen in here. So again, there was only 2 rooms for talks, 3 if you count the other one sometimes would be used. And you can see again the difference between Blackhat and DEFCON here is this would have been one Blackhat type conference room, one talk area where DEFCON only has 2 of them at Caesars, and it kind of just more leaves the villages to do their own things, and talks usually happen at the villages depending on whatever that is. And and the amount of space and people and things like that are pretty comparable, I would say, between Blackhat and DefCon. You got not everything's getting super full. Years past, DefCon was really hard to even get into a talk, and I would say, depending on the talk, I mean, you would have been able to get into most of these. You might have had to wait in line to wait in queue to go there, but not that bad. All right, so this is the packet hacking village. So again, this is all about packet captures, reading packet captures. We can see here different challenge areas. This one was sponsored by different companies. So this was a little bit of hardware hacking in this one too. I think more just to kind of get people used to doing cables, not specifically hardware. So this was the wall of sheep, and so on the DEFCON network, I'll pause it here. If you used it and were using anything in clear text, they have something that runs in the background that basically scrapes all that stuff and puts you on the wall of sheep, and this is what you're seeing here. They don't totally expose it, but it's to raise that awareness of using unsecure Wi-Fi's and or even secure Wi-Fi's, if it required a password. But seeing like people can grab this stuff and it's not that hard, and you really should have better security on on whatever you're doing on a network that's not yours, or that you may even think is yours. This is the IOT and voting machine village. So again, this was a big village. I kind of surprised that there was more people in this one, but this is actual. You can see different types of voting machines that they, from years past and stuff like that. What like technology they're made of, torn apart basically. There's different like Scantron type ones. There's the one with the touchscreen voting booth type situation there. So lots of different vendors, different. Most of this is older technology, but again gives you that way to look at this and see it and understand the technology underneath it. Then the IoT Village is Internet of Things, so different Internet of Things devices. Again, this one I think was heavily sponsored on that one. Yeah, Microsoft INE. Oh, and retail hacking, that was the other one. So these are the ink badges that, if you pull them off clothes, they'll splatter. There was missed it just a minute ago with people around the table, but basically there was the point of sale systems such that you could have looked at and mess with a little bit. This here is the IoT rack, basically. So on here is a bunch of different IoT devices. If you scan the QR code, then they basically have a web page of where what all is on here and what you can play with. But they're all just plugged in, connected to the same type network, so you can sit there and run exploits or whatever against them. See how that is to get a shell on these devices. Hack the Box sponsored this one, which is really cool. They had a cool little comic book that they came up with. There's some more of the devices. This was what was this one? Grid hacking? I think this is what that was. So the different little virtual cities basically set up here. So you had different houses that you were affecting, the windmill, and these were like bridges sitting here. And so these guys here, you see that they just changed the colors on the houses. You can see the windmill spinning up. You can kind of see the bridges flipping between back and forth. He's pointing that out there. So that was all of Caesar. And then I moved on to links. So again, this one is just on the 3rd floor. We can see here that it only has the social engineering community, and then the Recon Village and the Rogues Village. Chill out rooms are basically spots where people can kind of hang out. Maybe you sit down and hang out, talk to someone. Kind of cool way to meet people. And that's why I say, but some of the stuff is great for networking. All right. So this is walking towards the social engineering community. Again, you're going to walk a lot for Blackhat and Defcon. So there's the Recon Village and then the Rogues Village. Rogues Village was kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, it was very roguish type stuff. So restraints, picking handcuffs, and then they had different talks there, showing you that the camera is not recording, and they had different things to do to kind of get past there. There's a little challenge on that table there. They had a pickpocket type challenge there, so you're trying not to ring any of the bells, getting something off the dummy there, how to palm cards and put cards back onto the table. And so here's a little bit different challenges. Again, like I said, most of these villages work by having donations and stuff. So really, if you're participating in these villages, definitely donate some money to help them out. But yeah, you can see, talking about facial recognition, pickpocketing challenge. So again, really cool stuff. They sell badges, get more merch. This one was for the Recon Village. A good friend of mine, Web Breacher, is giving a talk there at the Recon Village. So I stopped in on one of his talks. So again, just give me an idea. This one is a smaller village. You see the size of the room here. Let's go back for a second. You see the size of the room. These rooms can get packed pretty easily depending on the talk. And so, sometimes, depending on the talk, you might wait outside to be there, and it might be hours that you're waiting in line to get in there. So again, it's really hard to know how busy it's going to be, and you just got to kind of plan accordingly, or have a backup, or say, is this really worth my time to sit here for an hour in line to maybe go see something? All right, so this is the last place. This is the Flamingo. This one was split up between 2 floors. You have the 3rd floor and the lower level, almost like the basement type level. So on the lower level, you had the data duplication village. You could literally bring a hard drive in if it was big enough, and they would copy all the past DEFCON media server stuff onto your hard drive for you. You just had to drop it off and give them enough time for them to copy it over. Hardware hacking and soldering skills. So again, these make great, wonderful idea that they're in the same space. They're basically just showing you, how to solder and how to play around with hardware. On the upper floor, this one was where things would get really crowded. So the Red Team Village here, that morning that I went to the Flamingo, I waited in line that went from basically this radio frequency village over here, chill out, and then they had us kind of crawl around this area right here to go into the Red Team Village, for it to have like one CTF type challenge and maybe the tiniest space ever to give talks. So we waited like 2 hours. They could only let so many people into their room, and it was not that great. It wasn't a great experience to kind of wait that long to go into something that really didn't have much there. Where like the Blue Team Village definitely had a lot more space, and it was right next door. So a lot of people just eventually kind of gave up and went to the Blue Team Village. Same thing with the Radio Frequency Village, which we'll cover, is nice big areas, stuff like that. So one of the things I would say that DEFCON could do better at is definitely not having some villages. Try to split up the village as much as possible. Like this Adversary and Cloud Village was one that had, I think, talks going on at the same time. Same thing with AppSec, and I forget what the BIC. What was BIC? I forget what BIC stood for, but these 2 rooms had talks going on at the same time. So you could easily walk in most of the time to these, and you could see that it's literally just cloth walls separating these 2 villages. So it really doesn't give any way to understand what's going on easily, or get the most value out of it. And I'll show that here, I think, in these slide pictures and videos. So this is the Flamingo. And again, they had multiple chill out rooms here too. Rooftop chill out. Again, it was nice to sit outside a little bit on a cooler day, not on a hot day. So there's the downstairs part of DEFCON. Again, these are in hotels, so like if you didn't know what you're looking for, you might walk past this and had no clue. So again, it would have been great to kind of have someone there, or a goon or somebody in a red shirt, kind of show a way, because you're literally just walking from hotel to hotel to find some of these things, and not sure where you're going. This one was the data duplication village. So like this, I'm sure this area was full at one point when dropping off hard drives, but it wasn't full when I walked in, and again, you can see it was easily just to walk in here. Again, super nice people. They have different things there, talking about how you can drop off, little raffles. That's what the data duplication looks like. So these towers basically have most of the media, and then these little stations down here are it copying it to the hard drives, and they just they mark them based on what data that you wanted or whatever, and when you turned them in, some information. So they just plug it in there and just start copying all that stuff. So again, cool setup. Really good on these guys to do this, and it runs, definitely ran pretty smooth. It seemed like solder skills. So I went downstairs first and looked at solder. So soldering, you can learn different ways, and hardware hacking. So again, they'll have different things here to play with. They have their own little challenges. This is where people sell their little badges that they've made or things like that. So here's soldering the SAO ports. That's what you're kind of seeing over here, this SAO port board. These are just headers that provide electricity and some basic power and stuff for little light up badges and stuff. It's just showing different copper wafers and stuff like that, encased in glass. You see here someone cut up their badge, just playing with it. Here's an old QCAT. Some depending on people who are watching this video, you might remember what QCAT is, and it's a way to do communications. This one here is this guy was selling these different SAO headers. So these are little badges again that could plug onto these bigger badges. These bigger badges have power to kind of run these little badges and stuff like that. So really cool, different artistic-y type ways of showing off tech and stuff like that. So here's another area here where they just have random hardware things that you could tear apart and play with. LEDs, so you could, solder some LEDs together if you wanted to. Most of this stuff is again donated by the community and stuff. Here's an SAO board with all the different little daughter boards is what they're usually called. And so they're just, again, little light up gadgets or whatever, different things. Again, super cool stuff. This is a little LED strip embedded into this, so it will light up and do stuff. This guy had like a whole bag of things going on. And then we went upstairs. So first thing you're greeted by is the info booth at Flamingo. Again, there's the Radio Hacking Village, so we can see here. This is again early morning, not a lot of people already. Another chill out room. Something interesting I thought they did is a memorial room. So this is an area that people can kind of come remember some people in the community if they passed away and stuff like that. Write notes, draw on rocks, things like that. I would have liked a little bit more information, like what DEFCON or whoever was running in this room was. Are they going to digitize it later? Like how is it going to be shared with the community? But with the things such as physical like that, with the memory book or whatever, if you're putting thought into it, you want to know that it's going somewhere that people could read it or maybe even learn about that person whenever they see it. And so like a physical item like that usually stays with somebody or stays with an organizer. And so not besides that time when does anyone else see it again? So that it would have been great to have a little bit, maybe a more printed out sheet of what was going to be done with that type of stuff. I can say that when I talked to the person in the room, they the drawings and stuff like that you could take or whatever if you're drawing stuff, or you wanted to color on a rock and make a memory rock or whatever that was you could take that, no issues there. This one was the Radio Hacking Village. I really wish I spent more time in this place. This one I really would have enjoyed a lot more. I think they had a lot of cool things in here to play with. Again, a lot of knowledge to get from this area. So they have different types of antennas and setups. This one was SpaceX. Everyone wanted to ask everything and anything about SpaceX and Starlink. Actually, this might be Starlink, not SpaceX. No, it is SpaceX. This little case coming up right here is all different things of RFID readers and like badge in type situations here. So all these are different HID badges. One's a HID with a pin pad, so you could again play with these things. They were given out. There's the controllers down on the bottom here. These are the different types of controllers. It says say if it's locked or unlocked. And then these are little RFID tags that they're giving out. And so they had a little challenge is that you needed to copy these keys here without removing them from the table and then use them. There was also additional keys, RFID badges or things like that hidden throughout the room that you needed to do. So you would have to have like an RFID reader and emulator to play with the CTF. I brought my flipper, so the flipper is something you definitely could have used. Here's different types of devices. This one here is a custom design antenna, long range antenna, and then, this coming up here is a Wi-Fi rig set up to listen on different bands. It's like a medium and a small there basically. So each one of those little 6 that were standing up were different antennas, so you could listen on different channels. There's a better picture of that. Weathered security. But yeah, each one of these was just basically different channels that you could listen on. So you could do Wi-Fi cracking, or Wi-Fi picking up of a Wi-Fi signal in different bands without having to switch it when you're using like Aerodome. Here's a Raspberry Pi type setup. So again, they crammed. I think this was 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Raspberry Pis with Wi-Fi dongles in here, and each listening on different channels. And then I think I have another picture of this guy's super rig. And this thing was huge. Yep, there it is right there. I think that was 48 antennas if I remember correctly. He had different cards set up, and then all those were getting ran into basically Intel Nook at the bottom. And that Intel Nook then would just record all these Wi-Fi channels at the same time. And again, that's still not technically enough if you're going for the whole N band, if I remember correctly. He said, it covers a lot though. Ham Radio Village. One of the cool things about DEF CON is you could actually take the ham radio test there. And you could, with ham radio, I think you can do as many attempts as you need to pass, but they have different ham radio technologies here, different receivers. So again, you could ask a lot of more stuff about this. It talks a little bit about the packet data relay network. You can make your own call sign ID cards if you wanted to. There's a little bit of antennas on the side there, kind of showing long range antenna. I think there's an antenna tester coming up here soon. Yeah, these are antenna testers. You can test different types of antennas. And there's a little antenna tester. There's the packet relay system, and then again, an example of just ham radio type stuff going on there. And then linked up ham radio, like internet type situation. Little magazines you can kind of look at and see, and join their Discord, or be able to again participate next year, help set up this, and then this is, I think this is the Biohacking Village. So I didn't record going in there, but these again gives you that exposure to different medical type devices and what those look like, and ask questions about them. PCR machines. So this is what most of the COVID tests were ran in during that time. And then this was a laparoscopic surgery system. So laparoscopics, using the little tiny forceps and stuff like that, and going in and doing surgery and cutting down the amount of human material that has to be cut into to actually do the operation and stuff like that. This one was the API area. Checkmarks was running this one. Again, another capture the flag. Again, there's so many different capture the flags. Like if you're interested in anything, there was the ability to do that. This was really awesome to see. Blacks in cybersecurity. So again, having different minorities and different cultures being representative in DEF CON is important. And again, we're all cybersecurity professionals, we're all hackers, and that having this means this is getting out to be inclusive of everybody and make sure everyone is part of this community. So it's really good to see. Crypto and privacy. So again, if you want to learn anything about crypto or how privacy works and stuff like that, this was the village and area. So I think we go in here a little bit. I don't think there was much in there to kind of show off, though. Yeah. But it was a great way to ask questions and learn more about it. Oh, okay, all right. So that kind of wraps up most of the rooms. The ones that I didn't get to show off was like Blue Team and Red Team Village. Again, lines were just really long, and getting in there was really a lot. And then getting in, once you got in, it was just people from shoulder to shoulder most of the time. Blue Team wasn't as bad. There was definitely a little bit more in there. I just didn't get video of that one. So the next section I wanted to kind of show off is different DEF CON badges, and I've only got just a smidgen of them. If you watch one of the DEF CON conferences videos already, one of the people interviewed who makes the badges, and I think there were 16 badges if I remember right, 12 or 16, something like that. And majority of the badges, with DEF CON, what they're trying to do is get people to interact with other people, and that's the whole premise of the badge most of the time, is to get that interaction, because that's what DEF CON's about, is getting people a little bit out of their comfort zone and getting them to kind of talk to other people and get involved in the community and be more involved in the community. So the way that these badges work is that here, let me show you a couple of them. Is that they have to be connected to each other to record stuff. And once we get one of the badges on here, let's see. So this one here is the human badge. This is what most people would get. and it's a sampling type keyboard. So when you boot it up, you get presented with a menu after you walk through this enormously long prompt about telling you do not connect the line in to the line out, because there's an audio amplifier that just basically creates a feedback loop and burns out the audio amplifier. And so after you walk through the menu, there's, you can play piano, violin, and then I think there was a sample or something like that. And the sample, depending on the badge, has different sounds. And the whole idea is to get all the different sounds and make a track that then unlocks the full potential of the badge or unlocks the rest of it. There's a lot of cool Easter eggs in each badge that you might not notice right away. But if you look at each picture whenever you go through them, you'll see. So the first thing I'll point out is the scale here. And again, I'm not a music person, so forgive me on this, but you'll notice that this changes. Also, the header, the top of the badge changes depending on the badge. There's also different sounds on each badge depending on who it is. So for like the humans, I think it was a dog or something like that. For the goons, it's a recording of Make a Hole. And you can save, so you would plug someone else's badge into yours and then line in, and then record that on the sampling track to then go to the next badge and do the same thing and record that on, so you would combine all these tracks basically. But you'll notice again, like I said, the music score right here is changed and it's different. And this is a goon badge. You can see goon here. The top's changed. All right, so this is a speaker badge. So again, we got different there, and we can see the Paris balloon on top there. One of the things too that they figured out during the con is if the silver tab touched the side, it could short it out too. So a lot of people you'll see sometimes have duct taped or taped up either their clasp or they taped up the side of their audio input devices and stuff here to prevent this from shorting out. This is an artist badge. So another one here. Notice difference. Majority of the rest of the badge is pretty much kind of the same. I think the art on the back changed here and there. I have a picture of one of those. There's a vendor badge there. That, built on Raspberry Pi. There's the contest badge. This is an extra badge that you bought somewhere else. There's the back of the yellow one. So the white one, again, has a different one. The red one has a different backing and stuff like that. So yeah, again, that was pretty much DEFCON. Again, the pros and the cons here. The pros for DEFCON is it's cheaper. You could go more focused into learning about particular skill area, or gain more knowledge by talking to people in that field and such. Versus Black Hat is just different talks basically during that, and you might get a little bit of knowledge of that. This section of the video though will cover like additional things that went on at DEF CON that are not like Village or contest. So this one here is the scavenger hunt. I thought it was really cool that they printed it on an old matrix printer here. So you're looking for these type of things. Yeah, and again you get different types of points for each thing that you find. And then we also had stuff like at nights they had this magician doing little magic tricks and stuff like that. Again, just bringing the community together, bringing people to kind of decompress, turn their brain off for a minute, giving back to that mental health a little bit, and just enjoying the moment, enjoying it with friends. or potential friends, depending if you introduce yourself to other people. So he's just playing a little magic trick here. She's picking a page out of the book and reading it, and then he's reading the same page. At the end of the trick, he kind of says, he shows someone else in the audience that the book's blank, which was, a really cool little magic trick. So again, each show lasts, I'd say, about an hour. This one here is dual core. The band. So again, dual core did a couple of songs. I would say about 6. And it was really great to see dual core. I highly like dual core. Actually, I had played one of their songs at my reception for my wedding and stuff like that. Hack all the things, and so he's just kind of setting up here. But I mean, again, this is almost like a mini concert that you are attending without paying for it. What you're seeing here is the video wall in the Caesar, and so this wall again is done by those Defcon artists and changes periodically. But again, really cool, cyberpunk type thing. And so, as far as I could tell, this isn't like a projector on here. This is the actual wall. And then, so someone, one of those people with the artist badge actually made this, which is really cool. And again, cool 3D animations up here. You can see the cameras moving and stuff like that. So there's so many different areas and just the realism of it. So a lot of things break down back to how much did all this cost. So just to kind of give you an idea here, the most expensive thing was the class, the training class. Now with Blackhat, which was kind of rough, is that no matter what, you had to buy the briefings if you attended the class, which I felt was kind of a jab to people. If I feel like the briefing should just be thrown in at that price. I mean, for about $4,000, I should get the briefings with the class. The class is only 2 days long. There shouldn't be any other reason not to get the briefings. It's not like you're paying for the recordings or anything like that. If you do want to get the recordings, you can buy them at the conference. They'll mail them to you after the fact. But it's after the fact. It's not like you get them right then and there. Again, I bought my DEFCON pass at Blackhat, so I didn't have to wait. I didn't have to go somewhere else to go pick up my badge or anything like that. The badge, I think, is the same no matter where you buy it. So all in all, for the about the week or whatever, it was about under 5,400. Add a hotel and stuff like that, you're talking about $7,000 or $8,000. So right under what it would cost just to go to a SANS class. In perspective, there, SANS training, I think alone is just $8,000 or $9,000 now for the class and a cert, and then you still got to pay for a hotel. So you're talking about $10,000 probably after everything's said and done. For the value, I think you're getting so much out of this. The class was with Joe Grand, which is a great person to know and talk to, but just the level of knowledge that these people do the training, they know so much. I mean, honestly, I find myself being like a jack of all trades when it comes to this type of stuff, and hardware hacking is one of the areas I haven't really focused in, but just having Joe explain it, and I've had an electronics background from the Air Force. Like we got trained in electronics basics, and Joe covered that, but then he goes so much more in depth in his training, and it was really good. So if you're really interested and have the money for it, it's definitely worth it. And again, for the Blackhat briefings and stuff like that, there were some really good ones. There were some really in-depth ones. Could you probably live without it? Yeah, you could probably just go see it on the site later and be all right. DEFCON's definitely worth it for the price. The most bang for your buck on DEFCON, though, I feel again is back to the villages. If you're interested in what you saw, aerospace or lockpicking, or want to just see how lockpicking is, or maybe you're a pen tester and you never got to do a physical engagement. That's your area to go play. That's the place to go do it, right? To go play with these devices and understand them and say, okay, I do want to get into this more, or I don't want to get into it. It's a way to get your toe wet in so many different things at the same time, and I think that's the biggest value out of that. So I hope this video helps out. I hope if you're thinking, next year, planning about it, one of the things I would recommend is, definitely a high, if your company has a training budget or something like that, listen, either talk to have that put in there, or maybe they cover some of this and you cover some of it. It's definitely worth your time to go there. If you aren't okay with big crowds, that's the downside of this, is it's not so crowded that you can't move, but it is crowded. There's a good amount of people, as you saw in most of those videos. You're hustling and bustling to go to places. For DEF CON, if you're trying to see a talk between two areas, you're not making it from Flamingo to Caesars to go catch a talk that starts in 5 minutes. It's just not happening. It's just too much distance in between them. I wish DEF CON was a little bit closer to each other, or in one building, or something like that on different floors. I don't think that'll happen. I think it's just logistically not that easy to get a whole hotel, or different areas of hotel. But it's it is what it is. All right, catch you guys on the next one. Thanks.